if you want to become a DevOps engineer in 2026, so you need to learn these things. So I would start with the Linux first. So Linux is everywhere. So if I go to AWS, I already deployed a Linux server. So let me grab this public IP. Let's open terminal. So I do have that key pair in downloads. So that's a cd is a Linux command. Then ssh-i and the key pair. That's a 2026, I believe. And then username is default username is Ubuntu and public IP. So this is the Linux command. So you should know we use SSH to connect to a Linux machine. If it is a Windows, you would go with the RDP. So once you get in here, so you're done with the AWS done with the 8 part. So we need, if you want to install something, so you should know commands. So for instance, you need, if you want to install Nginx, that's a web server. So you need to run the command apt install nginx-y. And then if you visit this public IP, you can see welcome to Nginx. And then if you want to serve your personalized web page, then you should know way to change things. So for instance, if you go to slash var www html, you can see index page. So I'm just gonna override with slash h1 hello DevOps, I could say. That's been done now. So now you can see this is just a sample. So you can create files, delete, destroy files. You need to install, you can do anything in it. So we have a playlist for that one. So here you can find Linux for cloud engineers. So you don't need to master everything Linux, but you should know the basic commands, how to connect to it, how to troubleshoot it. So basic firewall settings, maybe basic bash scripting. So you just need to know all these things. So once you're done with Linux, then start with Git and GitHub. So I do have a repository, because you should know how to clone the repository, how to make commits, how to push them, how to raise PRs. So for that one, we have a Git zero to hero complete Git playlist as well. So you can go through it. So you're gonna learn all the basics. So because while working, you will be working with your colleagues. So you would be sharing Terraform code and any other code. So let me show you. This one I do have a Terraform code. I'm just gonna clone this repo. So let's go to the folder. Let's open git bash here, and then I'm just gonna run git clone. Imagine you just joined in a company, so they gave you this repo. So what you're gonna do? So you just simply clone it. So once you clone it, let me open this folder in VS Code. So you can run the command code and the folder name. So it's gonna open VS Code in that with that specific folder. So here you can see, just gonna say that's fine. And this one, okay. So these are the Terraform syntax. So once you're done with this Linux and GitHub, so I would start with AWS. So once I'm done with, then the reason for that, imagine you this is a Terraform code. So if I want to deploy something in AWS, for instance, this one is gonna create VPC route tables and key pairs, security groups. So then how you gonna do? So you need to know that how to do those things in here first. For instance, if you go to VPC, so in VPC you can see subnets, route tables. Let me show you. So here you can see subnets, route tables, internet gateway, elastic IPs, NAT gateway, security groups, and then endpoints. You can see firewall as well, and you can see transit gateway and VPN connection. So you should know all of these things first. So once you know how to do this in here, and then you can run write Terraform code, and simply you can run the command to create it. So I'll show you that one as well. For instance, if we go with a sample deployment, so let's open terminal and then run the command Terraform init. Then it's gonna initiate Terraform. So once you run the Terraform init, you're gonna see .terraform directory here. So it's gonna contain all the plugins and everything. Then once you've done that, then you can run the command Terraform apply. So you should know what is AWS and how to what are API keys as well. So once you run Terraform apply, how this Terraform is going to talk to AWS. So we already installed AWS CLI and we ran some commands. So after once you learn Linux and Git, then start AWS, and then once you're master AWS, then go with Terraform and Ansible. These are IAC tools, because no one goes to AWS console. This is, we call it console. No one goes to console to deploy infrastructure. So they write code in Terraform, and then they run Terraform commands to deploy it. So if you look in here, VPC at the moment, we do have only two VPCs. So once you run Terraform apply, it's still in initiating. So once it is done, then run Terraform apply. Then if you press yes, so if you run the command, it's been done now. If you run the command Terraform apply, so whenever you run Terraform apply, it's gonna show the plan first. It says that I'm going to create these many resources. So these are the details. Then you can have a look on that. Once you're okay with it, then you can press yes. Then Terraform is going to create resources in AWS account. Terraform apply shows this plan. It's gonna add 15 resources and zero to change and zero to destroy. So once you press yes, and then if you go back to AWS, and then if you refresh this, you can see that Terraform is going to create a new VPC and other components we described in Terraform. So now we can see hunter007.prod. So just with a simple command, you're gonna create everything on AWS. So you must learn Terraform. So they have other tools as well for IAC. We got Ansible as well. For to if we just created a machine using Terraform, and then if you want to install something in it, maybe you want to create users, maybe you want to create Nginx. So whatever you're gonna do inside that machine, so you can use Ansible for that. So imagine you have 10 machines. So you have 10 machines, and then you need to install maybe you need to install something, maybe you need to copy some files, you need to some change configuration files. Then how are you going to do? Are you going to access it into a single machine and then change it, come back, and then do it again with other machines? So that's not feasible, right? So what you can do, you can create a Linux machine. It could be in a Windows WSL or any Linux machine. So you're gonna install Ansible in it. So inside this Ansible, you're gonna create an inventory. Okay, an inventory file. This inventory file contains all the information about your target machine. So in our case, these EC2 machines. So then later, what you're gonna do, you're gonna write a playbook. So in the playbook, you're going to write, install these things. Maybe you're gonna add these users. So whatever you're gonna do, just write in the playbook. And then once you run the playbook, so it's gonna install everything in that playbook. It will be installed in all of these machines. So just with a single command, you're gonna do that. So that's why you need to learn Ansible as well. So as a IAC tool, you can use CloudFormation as well, AWS CloudFormation. So that's AWS native solution. But if you use CloudFormation, you need to stick to AWS only. But with the Terraform, you can use it with any other clouds, whether it could be GCP, Azure, AWS, DigitalOcean, and it supports many other things. Even it supports Kubernetes as well. So once you're done with these IAC tools, then start with the Docker, because Docker is important to create images. You can deploy containers as well. So we have this machine in here. So let's install Docker. So what you need to do, let me do sudo su, and then I'm gonna run command curl https get.docker.com. You're gonna get some script, so I'm just gonna send it to bash. So it's gonna install Docker for us. So once we install Docker, I'm just gonna create a container out of it. So I have an image. This is the public repository, docker hub.docker.com. So let's grab this. You can see it used to have a command, so let's grab this one. and then it's still installing Docker. Yeah, we're done. You can run the command Docker version, so you can say Docker being installed. So Docker run -d name, and then I'm gonna map a port. So here you need to container name, so it's gonna pull that image, and if you run the command docker ps now, the container is running. If you go to this public IP with port 90, now you can see. So this is how you can use containers. So you're going to use containers in microservices as well, such as Kubernetes and other things. So you need to learn Docker here to create images, because you will be writing Docker file for the images thing. And then once you're done with here, then start with Jenkins or GitHub Actions for CI/CD. So you don't manually run the commands to repeat everything in a repeated manner. So you're gonna write pipelines for that. So we're going to call it CI/CD thing. There's a continuous integration and continuous development or deployment. So you need to master these things. And then once you're done with it, then go with Kubernetes. Because if you have multiple containers, Docker is not feasible to maintain them. So that's where Kubernetes comes in. So we use Kubernetes. It has some complex architecture. So you can start with Kubernetes, then you just need to master it. But in if you have less experience, you don't need to master Kubernetes initially, but eventually you need to learn them. So once you learn these things, so we can add some monitoring tools as well, Prometheus and Grafana. We have other tools as well, New Relic, but you can start with these tools to understand how what is monitoring, how we do, then how we get alerts. So you just need to get all basic stuff. You have New Relic, Datadog as well. So many other tools you can see, but these are the ones people usually use a lot. So just try to master them. You don't need to master, just try to learn the basics of these tools. And then when it comes to DevSecOps, once you add security at any stage of these DevOps pipelines or DevOps workflow, that's what we call it DevSecOps. So for instance, when developers write the code, so while creating CI/CD pipelines, if you use SonarQube to scan the code, so for the static code analysis, so that's a security thing. So we call it DevSecOps. Even we can, if you maintain, we usually deal with secrets, whether it could be database secrets or any other secrets, so you need to keep them secure. So that's where security comes. Then this gonna be a DevSecOps. And then once you create these images, so you're gonna use some tools to scan these images, so such as Trivi. So that's a DevSecOps. And then you can use OS top 10 guidelines and following best security practices. So whenever security involves in the DevOps workflow, so we call it DevSecOps. So nothing more than that. So once you master these things, then you can try deploying projects. Actually, I forgot to show you, we do have AWS 0 to Hero series as well. So it contains around 15 videos at this point of time. So I'm going to add more videos as well in that playlist. So once you master all these things, just do some projects. We have a playlist for that one as well. DevOps projects, you can see some very, yeah, you can see. So I we basic projects, so you don't need to deploy complex projects while learning, because you need to understand the workflow, how it's working, how it happens in organization level. So once you understand that, maybe later you can deploy a complex projects. So that's all for this video. I hope this helps. So once you learn these things, then you can, once you create some projects, then confidently you can apply for DevOps jobs. Yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching.